Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something pretty fundamental if you want to really connect in English. Pronunciation. It's often that invisible wall, sounds that maybe aren't in your first language, spellings that seem totally random.
Right.
And just getting that English rhythm down, it can feel like a lot.
It really can. But the source material we're diving into today, this really great article, it suggests maybe surprising path. Tongue twisters.
Tongue twisters. Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to unpack this article, pull out the really key stuff, and show you why these phrases, which sometimes sound, a bit silly, are actually super powerful tools for getting clearer, more confident speech. We're not talking mindless repetition here.
No.
There's technique. There's understanding how they work for you. We'll break down let's say, the science and the strategy, give you the nuggets you need, quick but thorough, just for you listening.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start with that why. Why are tongue twisters actually useful? Not just, party tricks. The article mentions something called phonetic gymnastics.
Exactly. That's the first big reason. Think about your mouth, tongue, lips, jaw. Your articulators, they're like muscles.
Okay.
And like any physical skill, clear speaking needs those muscles to be strong, flexible. Agile, really.
Right.
Tongue twisters. They're designed to give those muscles a serious workout, like Peter Paper picked. Forces your lips and tongue into these rapid, specific shapes.
The gym for your mouth idea. I like that. It clicks. It's physical training.
It absolutely is. And not just making one sound, but moving between different sounds quickly and accurately.
Okay.
Plus, they're huge for improving sound discrimination.
Sound discrimination.
Yeah, telling sounds apart. Like, English has lots of sounds that are really close. Things ins and cell versus she and shell.
Oh, yeah. Tricky one.
So tongue twisters deliberately put those similar sounds right next to each other. You say she sells seashells again and again. It forces you to listen really hard to the tiny differences and then trains your mouth to actually make them differently.
So it sharpens your ear just as much as your mouth.
Totally crucial. You can't make a sound properly if you can't hear it properly first.
Makes sense.
And all that repetition, that focus practice, it builds muscle memory.
Right. Automating it.
Exactly. The goal isn't to have to think, okay, where does my tongue go for the every single time?
Why not?
By practicing a twister accurately, and we'll get to the accurately part, starting slow is key. You make those correct movements automatic. Your mouth just learns what to do. Eventually, you're making the sounds without the conscious thought.
That's the dream for fluency, isn't it? Effortless speaking. The article also talks about rhythm and cadence.
Yes. English has its own music, its own rhythm. It's stress-timed. Tongue twisters, okay, they can sound a bit unnatural sometimes.
A little bit sing-songy, maybe?
Yeah, kind of. But trying to say them smoothly helps you feel that flow. Linking words together, practicing that natural English music. It helps you move away from speaking, word by word.
Right, towards a more connected, flowing sound.
Yeah. And let's not forget the confidence booster side of things.
Good point.
I mean, successfully getting through a really tricky phrase, even if you start slow, that feels good. It's like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, a real win.
Totally. Tangible progress is so motivating for learners. And that confidence you get from nailing, say, she sells seashells, it carries over.
Yeah.
Makes you a bit braver about speaking English in actual conversations.
Definitely. Or finally, the article says they help with breaking bad habits.
Oh, this is a big one. We all pick up habits, right? Sometimes substituting English sounds with ones from our native language without even realizing it.
Fossilized errors, they call them sometimes.
Exactly. Tongue twisters are brilliant at shining a spotlight on those because they isolate and really push those specific sounds or combinations you struggle with. They make it super obvious where the problem is, which then lets you target that specific thing for correction.
So they're like a diagnostic tool too, not just practice.
Yeah, both. It makes a lot more sense when you break it down.
Okay, so it's clear why they work. But the article also says, don't just jump into Peter Paper cold. Preparation matters.
Oh, absolutely. Like any workout, right? You got to warm up.
So physical warm-ups for your mouth.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes can really help. Gentle jaw stretches, doing lip trills, that brr sound, or rolling your tongue. Just loosens everything up before you start the main event, the phonetic workout.
Like an athlete getting ready. What about the mental game?
Huge. The article really stresses patience, persistence. You will mess up.
Guaranteed.
You'll get tangled. You'll make mistakes. That's not failing. It's just learning.
Right.
So the mental prep is about accepting that, maybe even laughing about it, and just trying again. Focus on the small wins. like getting one tricky word right, or saying the whole phrase smoothly once.
Progress, not perfection. Instantly. And the article also hammers home the importance of listening.
Cannot stress this enough. You can't make sounds accurately if you aren't hearing them accurately.
So not just passively hearing, but active listening.
Exactly. Really tune in. How do native speakers make that sound? Where's the stress? What's the rhythm like? Listen to different accents. Try to copy them. Analyze what your mouth needs to do differently.
Which brings us to something that makes a lot of people cringe, but the article says it's invaluable. Recording yourself.
Oh, yeah. Listening back can be uncomfortable.
Definitely.
But it's such a powerful tool. We just don't hear ourselves the way others do. Recording yourself saying a twister or just reading something, then listening back. You catch mistakes you'd totally miss otherwise.
And you can compare it to a native speaker, maybe?
Yeah, perfect. It gives you that crucial, sometimes really eye-opening feedback.
And the golden rule, you mentioned it, it's all over the source, starting slow.
Yes, always. Accuracy first, speed later. Say each word, each sound slowly, deliberately. Make sure your tongue, lips, jaw are doing the right thing for every sound.
Okay.
Only when you can say it perfectly, slowly, should you even think about speeding up. And do it gradually if you start stumbling. Slow right back down.
Got it.
Speed comes from consistent, accurate practice. It's the result, not the starting goal.
Excellent advice, really practical. Okay, so to really get why certain twisters work on certain things, it helps to know what sounds in English generally trip people up, right? The article outlines some common ones.
Right. English has sounds that just don't exist in lots of other languages or they work differently. Consonants first.
Sure.
Well, the big ones are the TH sounds, that unvoiced, like in thin.
And the voice A, like, then this is, yeah, always tough.
The English are no rolling allowed. The L sound, especially the difference between light L and dark L, distinguishing V and W. Subtle differences between P, B, F, and that whole group. S, SH, CH, and Z sounds. Lots of potential confusion there.
And vowels are a whole other minefield.
Oh, absolutely. English has way more vowel sounds than many languages. Key things are like short versus long vowels. Think ship, tape versus sheep.
Big difference in meaning.
Huge. Then you've got diphthongs, those vowel glides like in min or say, and the schwa sound, that little sound everywhere in unstressed syllables. Super common.
The article mentions minimal pairs for vowels too, like ship and sheep.
Yeah, they're great. Minimal pairs are words that only differ by one sound, like ship, sheep, or fan, van. Practicing them really sharpens your listening and your production of those tricky contrasts.
So tongue twisters often pack those kinds of contrasts in?
Exactly. Or they focus on difficult sound sequences. The article also gives a little nod to the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet.
Right.
If you're curious, it's like a precise map for your mouth. Tells you exactly what to do for each sound. Can be helpful.
Perfect context. Okay, let's get to the main event. Diving into some specific twisters from the article, breaking them down, how they help, how to practice them.
Let's do it. How about the most famous one first? Peter Piper kicked a peck of pickled peppers.
The classic. Okay, what's the main workout here?
This is brilliant for the P sound, especially getting that puff of air aspiration after the P in words like Peter or picked.
Right, not beat or biper.
Exactly. It also drills the short vowels in pick, pickled into in peck peppers, and, going for American English, that flap T sound in Peter.
Okay, and where do people usually stumble on this one?
The most common thing is not aspirating those initial sups enough. They sound too much like B. Confusing those short vowels, A and Hos, is also really common. And the end of picked, that na-T cluster, can be tricky too.
So how does the article say to tackle it, strategy-wise?
Okay, first, isolate the P sound. Just practice saying P, feeling that puff of air. The article suggests holding a piece of paper in front of your mouth.
Oh.
It should move when you make a good aspirated P.
Then, practice each word super slowly. Peter, Piper, picked, peck, pick lead, pippers. Get each sound right.
Break it down, then chunk it. Peter Piper, picked a peck. Finally, put the whole line together, but slowly. Make sure those gomps pop and the vowels are distinct. Speed comes way later. Oh, and listen for the rhythm. Peter Piper picked. Those words get the stress.
That makes it feel much less intimidating, actually, breaking it down. Okay, next one. She sells seashells by the seashore.
The ultimate S versus battleground.
The S and SH.
Yeah, absolutely the main focus here. Nailing the difference between the hissing tongue tip near the ridge behind your teeth, lips relaxed.
Yes.
And the she's sound, tongue further back, lips a bit rounded.
Sure.
This one also hits the long I's vowel in she, see, the short in cells, shells, and that tricky dark L in shells and cells.
I bet mixing up the S and SH is the #1 problem.
By far. Either making them sound the same or swapping them. Another thing is not rounding the lips enough for the S so it sounds too much like S.
Right.
And that dark L sound at the end of cells and shells trips up a lot of people too.
Okay, practice strategy for the seashells.
Again, start with the sounds themselves. S versus sh. Feel what your tongue is doing differently, what your lips are doing. Use a mirror to check lip rounding.
Good tip.
Practice minimal pairs. See, she, cell, shell. Then the individual words really focus on the contrast. She sells seashells, seashore, then chunk in it. She sells seashells by the seashore. And when you do the full line, go slow. Make that S versus difference super clear every time. Then maybe speed up a tiny bit.
Okay, those two feel like good foundational ones. Now, prepare ourselves. The article calls this one a true monster. The sixth sheep's sick.
Oh boy, yeah. It's famous for being awful for a reason.
Yeah.
Its main focus. Just relentless repetition and switching between S and the unvoiced. The real nightmare is the word sixth. That 6 consonant cluster is brutal.
Wow.
It also hammers the short and long I's and vowels again.
Just looking at sixth spelled out feels hard.
It really is. Main problems. People simplify sixth, maybe drop the S or say S or F or T instead.
Yeah, I can see that happen.
Or they mix up the S and wish when they're trying to say it fast.
Yeah.
Or the whole thing just kind of collapses into mush. It's a real test of precision and endurance.
So how on earth do you practice that monster?
Rule 1. Conquer sixth first. Break it right down. Start with sick, like sick.
Okay.
Add the final S6, like 6. Now the hard part, adding the S. Practice going from S to S. The article suggests making a long S sound, and then, while you're still hissing, slowly push your tongue tip forward between your teeth for the S out. Sif.
Ah, like merging them slowly.
Exactly. Then try the whole sequence. 6. Very, very slowly. 6. Once sixth is clear, then practice the other words slowly. Then try tiny chunks. Sixth, sick. Going from sick right into sick is crazy hard.
Wow.
This one is all about painstaking, slow, precise work. Speed is like a distant dream initially.
My mouth hurts just thinking about it. Okay. Maybe one more that looks simple but isn't. Red lorry, yellow lorry.
Deceptively tricky. This is a nightmare if you struggle with the English R and L sounds, especially close together.
Right, the RL distinction.
That's the whole point. Rapidly switching between the English R tongue curled back or bunched up, definitely not tapping the roof of your mouth, and the L sound tongue tip, making firm contact right behind your top teeth.
Whoa.
It forces your tongue to do 2 very different things very quickly.
Common mistakes here.
Number 1 is just confusing R and L, swapping them.
Yeah.
Or if your native language has a tapped or trilled R, making the English R sound tapped.
Right.
And just the speed switching quickly often makes one or both sounds unclear. They kind of blend together.
So how do you practice this quick change?
Isolate the sounds first. Practice your English R. Maybe start with air and curl your tongue back. Don't let it touch anything. Then practice L. Feel that tongue tip firmly hitting the ridge. Practice minimal pairs. Red, lead, right, light. Really feel and hear the difference. Then say red lorry super, super slowly. Focus on how your tongue moves from the R position, no contact, to the L position, contact. Same for yellow lorry. L contact to R, no contact. A mirror can help here too. Lips are usually a bit rounder for R, more neutral for L. And again, build speed only when it's accurate slowly.
That tongue movement difference, subtle but everything. Okay, so we've looked at specific twisters, but the article also talks about tackling persistent problems, sounds that might still be hard even with twister practice.
Yeah, exactly. Like the TH sounds or the English R, sometimes you need extra focus for that dreaded TH, the unvoiced in thing, voiced E in this. It's all about tongue position. Tip lightly between your teeth or just behind them. Gently blow air.
Okay.
For the voice one, add the vibration in your throat. Feel it with your fingers. The article points out common errors like saying S, Z, T, D, F, or V instead.
Great.
So use a mirror. Check that tongue is poking out a bit. And draw minimal pairs like thinsen, dinsen. Really isolate it.
And the English R, so different from a Spanish R or French R.
Totally different. No tap, no trill against that ridge behind the teeth. The article talks about 2 main ways people make it. Retroflex, where the tongue tip curls back, or bunched, where the main body of the tongue lifts up high in the back. The key is no tapping. Common errors are tapping it, or substituting L or W.
So how to practice that?
A good tip is often starting with a vowel sound, like and slowly moving your tongue into that R position without letting the tip touch the roof of your mouth. Practice words. Red, run, very, around. Feel it.
And the L sound. You mentioned light L and dark L earlier.
Yeah, this is surprisingly important for sounding natural. The sound of L changes based on where it is. Light L comes before vowels or yay sound, like in lip or yellow. Tongue tip touches the ridge. Rest of the tongue is pretty flat.
Okay.
Dark L comes after vowels or before consonants like feel or milk. Tip still touches the ridge, but the back of your tongue also pulls up and back towards the soft palate. Gives a darker, deeper sound.
Ooh, subtle.
It is, but using only light L everywhere sounds a bit off to native ears. The article suggests really focusing on feeling that back tongue raising for dark L practice pairs like lee versus eel to feel it.
It really highlights how physical pronunciation is, doesn't it? Understanding the mechanics.
Absolutely. It's not just about repeating sounds, it's knowing what your mouth should be doing.
So once you've got these techniques, these twisters, how do you make it stick? Make it a habit?
Consistency is key. The article really pushes daily drills. Just 5 or 10 minutes every day, much better than one long session once a week.
Make it part of the routine.
Exactly. Non-negotiable. And you can use them as quick warm-ups, too. Like if you know you have a call in English, do a couple relevant twisters beforehand to get your mouth moving.
Good idea. And combining them with other practice methods.
Yeah, definitely. Twisters are great, but they're best as part of a mix. Combine them with stuff like shadowing, mimicking native speakers. Reading aloud builds awareness. Minimal pair drills for those specific sound contrasts, or using pronunciation apps or websites for structured practice and maybe feedback.
And keeping it fun seems important too, right? So you don't just give up.
For sure. The article suggests making it a game. Challenge friends, maybe? Or have little speed competitions, but only once you've got the accuracy down.
Accuracy first.
Always.
Yeah.
Or just pick a new weird twister each week, keep it fresh.
But the main point, the end goal, is what the article calls transful, right?
Yes. This is crucial, all this practice. It's to build the muscle memory and the awareness so you can actually use these skills in real, spontaneous English conversations.
So noticing your mistakes as you speak.
Exactly. When you're talking and you hear yourself slip up on a sound you've practiced in a twister, make a mental note. Try to self-correct next time. Consciously applying it is how it becomes part of your natural speech.
Makes sense. The article also tossed in a few other enjoyable ways to practice, sort of beyond the twister.
Yeah, just to mix things up, keep it engaging. Things like singing English songs, great for rhythm, vowels, reading poetry or plays aloud, helps with musicality, intonation, or even watching movies, TV shows, but really focusing on the actor's mouth movements and trying to copy them.
Lots of different angles.
All good ways to supplement the focused twister work.
Wow, okay. We've definitely unpacked a lot there. It's really clear that tongue twisters, when you approach them right, are way more than just kids' games. They're serious phonetic workouts.
They really are. A surprisingly powerful tool if you use them strategically. But, like the article emphasizes, improving pronunciation. It's a journey. It takes time.
Patience and persistence.
Exactly. Consistent, deliberate practice.
And it's not about aiming for some kind of mythical, perfect native accent either.
No, absolutely not. The real goal is clear, confident communication, making sure people understand you easily, letting your personality shine through without pronunciation being a barrier.
Right, connecting with people.
That's what it's all about.
So embrace the twists and turns, celebrate the small wins, and keep practicing. Maybe the most interesting thought to leave you with, thinking about all this, is how gaining that conscious control over these tiny physical movements in your mouth, these little muscle adjustments, can actually unlock something much bigger. Real freedom, maybe deeper connection in how you express yourself and how you communicate out there in the world in English.